Welcome in to I Remember My First Time.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
Oh, well, I like the sound of that. Continue, BJ, please.
where we talk about movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
Yeah.
You want a Scooby snack? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I did my impersonation of Scooby Doo, and I don't know if you realized it, but my impersonation of the O was Jack Black, so continue.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
Oh, God, I fucking hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
Oh, BJ, we love shitty movies. Sometimes. Even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Mm-mm. Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
Oh, we love the shit out of movies. And this week's masterpiece, the 10th biggest grossing film of 1988. This film is included among the American Film Institute's 2000 list of the top 100 funniest American movies. And it is the first Tim Burton movie that won an Oscar. We have the Michael Keaton 1988 classic, Beetlejuice.
Jacob, my life is a dark room.
BJ, you know I am only happy when I am sculpting.
I am the afterlife's leading biological exorcist, BJ Leica.
Joined, as always, by me, Jacob Ekus. And I know just as much about the supernatural as I do interior design.
Is that a lot or a little?
Oh, that's not fuck all.
That couch on Craigslist looks good. I'll put that here.
Exactly. Style of my last apartment.
We have Beetlejuice, described by HBO Max as Michael Keaton is the ghost with the most as he helps a pair of newly deads. You get it? Newly deads instead of newlyweds. In Tim Burton's supernaturally funny Haunted House Smash.
Okay.
I really liked the newly deads joke in there, but,
Yeah.
we love a
It was
good pun.
clever. Yeah, it was clever.
Beetlejuice is rated 7.5 on IMDb, has an 83% Rotten Tomatoes score, and a 71% Metacritic score. For this, is it, would you call this movie universally loved? Or more cult classic-y?
Both? Tim Burton's weird. Tim Burton both has universally loved and cult classic movies in the same movie. And I hate Tim Burton. So, both? Also, quick sidebar. Is the symbol for Metacritic the popcorn thing?
No, that's, I believe, Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomato is a tomato.
I believe there's an audience score and a Metacritic score. If only I had a computer in front of me and could look it up.
Well, I turned Casino on for Nema last night, and the Rotten Tomato score is only like 76, and the popcorn score wasn't as high as I thought it would be for what I think is the best Scorsese movie. But that's a whole nother sidebar. It was on Peacock. It was a cool feature. I just wanted to know if you knew what the symbol was for Metacritic. Those numbers fit, I think, pretty well for a Tim Burton movie. And like I said, I think Tim Burton movies are weirdly universally loved and weirdly cult classics at the same time. I think Tim Burton's career is what Robert Rodriguez wanted.
Despite Robert Rodriguez
Did
being
I
infinitely better.
100%, but did I just blow your mind by saying that? Because it seemed like there was a long pause. You were like, oh my God, he's right. But I nailed it.
So, what do you think our buddy Raj thought of this movie? One Mr. Roger Ebert.
I definitely think Roger has a hard on for Tim Burton, and he gives this at least a 3 out of 4.
That was my thought too, and he did not. He gave it 2 out of 4 stars, saying,
Really?
Beetlejuice gets off. Yep, yep. Beetlejuice gets off to a start that's so charming it never lives it down. The movie is all anticlimax once we realize it's going to be about gimmicks and not characters. Again, Raj loves his character development. Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis as the young couple seem so giddy and heedlessly in love that they project an infectious good cheer. The local folks are so gosh darn down home they must be sired by L.L. Bean out of the Prairie Homes collection. The movie is bathed in a foolish charm, and fool that I am, I expected that note to be carried all the way through the film, but it wasn't. One of the problems is Keaton as the exorcist, nearly unrecognizable behind pounds and pounds of makeup. He prances around playing Beetlejuice, a mischievous and vindictive prankster, but his scenes don't seem to fit with the other action, and his appearance are mostly a nuisance. It's also a shame that Baldwin and Davis, as the ghosts, have to spend most of their time playing tricks on Jones and O'Hare and winning the sympathy of their daughter. I would have been more interested if the screenplay had preserved their sweet romanticism and cut back on the slapstick.
Well, I pretty much disagree with everything that he said, but can you repeat what he said about Michael Keaton just that one little bit?
Yes, I can, Jacob. One of the problem is Keaton as the exorcist. He prances around playing Beetlejuice, a mischievous and vindictive prankster, but his scenes don't seem to fit with the other actions, and his appearances are mostly a nuisance.
Okay. Well, hard disagree there, but all right, all right, all right. All right, Roger. Also, but as Roger always does, incredible writing. Whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him, incredible.
So, Raj was kind of on the movie, but you already mentioned top 10 in the box office for 1988. Give us those numbers.
The numbers are as follows. Before I get into the numbers, I just want to say that although the character's true name is Beetlejuice, it was spelled Beetlejuice in the title because it's funnier and it markets better.
Beetlejuice, or the way it's spelt in the film or as the character's name, I don't know if anybody would have seen it.
I don't think so. So, right on there. And then I just want to preference my little budget snippet with the visual effects budget at the time was $1 million. So 3 million, about 3 million today, which was a major factor in Tim Burton to decide to make the effects look as tacky and as B movie as possible. So, with that being said, the total budget was $15 million in 1988. So they only had 1 million of that for visual effects. Today, 15 million is about $39 million. They had $39 million to make this movie.
I would have thought half to a third of the budget would have been for the effects.
I would have too. And as much as I dislike Tim Burton movies, because I notoriously do, I thought the effects were really good in this movie. And then I read that trivia and I was like, holy dick, they're really, really good. So yeah, $15 million, so about 39 million today. Opening weekend, it made it half of its money back, $8 million, 21 million today. And gross worldwide, it made about 75 million, so about 197 million today. So it was
Ooh,
a successful fucking movie.
that is an understatement.
Yeah.
And has carried a legacy for a long time. I feel like this is one of those movies growing up that everyone had on VHS.
Yes. Oh, BJ, speaking of everyone having this movie on VHS, This movie has a interesting bit of trivia for the pod. The film was the first DVD sent out by Netflix in 1998.
I don't know what I'm more shocked about, that this was the first film or that Netflix was doing mail out DVD service in 98.
Right? Like fuck me, I was 6. Like we were already doing mail out DVD service. Fucking wild. I think that's the more wild part for me.
Yeah, when you said there first and then we're gonna say the year, I'm thinking like, yeah, 2007 maybe.
Oh, I knew it was earlier than 2007 because I graduated high school in 2010 and I was ordering movies like 2007. So it had to be well before that if I was ordering movies. But anyway, yeah, those are my box office numbers. Now on to thoughts of the movie. PJ, you've seen this movie before, right? Like 20 odd, 25 odd years ago.
Oh, yeah, when I was a kid. Probably 25 years has been the last time I saw it. And I will have to say, not a huge fan. It there are some very good things about this movie. It is obviously Tim Burton kind of has that dark charm to him. But more than anything, I was just kind of confused through the whole movie.
What were you confused about?
I I didn't know if it was supposed to be funny. I didn't know if it was supposed to be scary. I didn't know if it was supposed to be sweet. I'm not really sure who the bad guys are. I'm not really sure who the good guys are. At the end, the parents should have learned their lesson. They didn't. Just the whole thing was just odd watching it in 2024 as a 36-year-old man.
Okay. Well, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I typically dislike Tim Burton movies, and I haven't watched this movie in 25 years. I'm like, we're doing this movie because we have a podcast. We decided to make Halloween a little lighter this month. Beetlejuice is out in theaters, and I'm just like, okay, let's do Beetlejuice. It's Michael Keaton's favorite role of his, if nobody knows that, and keeping it light. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna like this movie. It's fucking Tim Burton. And I'm watching this movie, and this movie kills it for me. I think it's fucking funny. I like I understand, though I do understand what you mean by the parents do not learn anything or their lesson.
Right,
Because
especially around this time. This was a pretty obvious movie trope where the parents were assholes for one reason or another, but they always seemed to learn their lesson. And this movie was like, nah.
yeah. So I'll agree with you on that one, but I thought the jokes hit. I thought that I love the fact that it was kind of scary and more funny. I love the jokes. I love the slapstick. I loved Michael Keaton. Even though he was only in this movie for 14 minutes, I thought every minute he was on screen, he ate that shit up.
This is I think, a 92-minute movie titled Beetlejuice. And I don't think Beetlejuice appears until like minute 50.
No, it's like 22 minutes when he first like
No.
no
Well,
no
there's the one where you can't see him, where he's like
yes
reading the paper about the sandworms, but when he
yes
actually shows up is deep into the movie.
yeah that I mean you're right, and I was referring to the part where he's reading the paper. This is in line with what's the Silence of the Lambs. I think Anthony Hopkins won a Academy Award for 17 minutes of screen time.
Well deserved.
I don't disagree. I think this is, I wouldn't say that good, but that memorable. Like I will watch this movie again for Michael Keaton. And I like this movie more than you did. It's still a Tim Burton movie. I'm like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but Michael Keaton's that good.
I guess my question to you, Did this make you want to watch the new one?
Not in theaters.
Next year when it's on HBO Max?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But I will say, despite me not thoroughly enjoying this movie, there are parts of this that do stand out. Obviously, Keaton's performance, not an ounce of fat on this performance. He does not waste a second of that. What'd you say it was? 17 minutes? 14 minutes?
14 and a half.
He doesn't waste a second of it. He is
Nope.
there and he is ready to party every second he's on that screen. And there is that odd Tim Burton charm to this movie.
Yes. And really, the only time I've really enjoyed the oddly Tim Burton charm. And I think I enjoyed it because he only had $1 million for the visual effects. Because it was unintentionally Tim Burton charming versus all the other movies are obviously Tim Burton masturbation.
And Catherine O'Hare, funny as hell.
Yeah. Agreed. Also, it's super funny. I am currently slowly rewatching Schitt's Creek with Nema. So when Moira showed up, I thought that was fucking incredible. And I'm currently now through the furthest I've ever been in the show Deadwood, and the newspaper editor is the dad.
The ultimate that guy. I do not know his name, and I have seen him in 15 different things.
Yeah. So cool little connections there. And when it comes to, is there anything you like? So you've already said the things you didn't like about this movie, and you can delve more into them if you want to. Things I didn't like about this movie, nothing. Like I really went into this movie with the lowest expectations possible because I cannot emphasize enough how much I dislike Tim Burton movies. It's like up until getting ready for this podcast, I thought he also made The Nightmare Before Christmas because fuck that movie. He didn't. He wrote it. He wrote the story that it's based off of, but ugh, fuck that movie too. So I went in this with the lowest expectations, and halfway through it, I'm just like, huh, I like this movie, and it's an obviously Tim Burton movie. And then it ended, and I was like, that was a good fucking movie, and I hate Tim Burton.
uh,
So,
yeah, you, I, I think I think my biggest problem with it is there's too many good guys and too many bad guys, if that makes any sense at all.
yeah,
It,
and the good guys aren't very good, and the bad guys aren't very bad.
right, but they're still clearly good guys and bad guys, despite, like you said, the good guys not that good, the bad guys not that bad. It it was just an odd watch for me.
You know what? After saying that and having that introspective, I will say that that's the one thing I dislike about this movie is the good guys weren't very good and the bad guys weren't very bad.
Beetlejuice is pretty bad. He's a sexual pervert trying to marry an underage girl.
Yeah, and just stay with me for a second and we can edit this out
Oh
if
no.
we need to.
That's never a good way to start a sentence.
No, it's not. But I'm doubling down because if we keep this in, I want it all in. He is a sexual pervert, and that's never good. Okay? I'm looking at you, Louis C.K. It's never fucking good.
Louis C.K. just taking strays.
But what I am saying here is he was only marrying an underage girl because it got him out of the loop of being trapped where he was, and it didn't seem like his motivations went beyond that. She was just available for the deal to be made to get out of his quote unquote curse.
Don't know why he had to get married for that curse. That was never explained.
It
Just
wasn't.
kind of
It
came
was.
up with about 15 minutes left in the movie, and I'm like, what?
Yes.
Where'd this come in?
which is why I'm stretching this. It is a stretch. I'm just not convinced that Michael Keaton's character Beetlejuice was a pedophile. That's all I'm saying. He was a sexual predator. It's not cool. Again, I'm looking at you, Louis C.K. But I don't know if he was a pedophile.
That wasn't near as bad as I thought it was when you started off with, "We may have to edit this out." So,
But
that wasn't that bad a take.
it wasn't that bad, but it also sounds like I'm slightly pro sexual predator. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's still not a good character aspect. It's all like,
I'm just saying. If you say, "I'm just saying," you can't get in trouble because 'cause you're just saying.
exactly. It's like old white Southern women saying, bless his heart. You can then say whatever the fuck you want to after that sentence. Okay, so was it a good or a bad movie? I'm going to say it was a good movie.
It's it's so strange and interesting that despite my relative dislike for it, I think I may have to still say that it's a good movie.
Cool. Cool. This is going better than I thought it was. Because we haven't talked about this movie a lot, but you did tell me you were not the biggest fan.
Di
And I think part of it is I'm kind of convincing you. And the reason I'm convincing you is because of how much I hate Tim Burton.
uh, there is undeniably something about this movie that is intriguing. I just didn't care for it.
That's
That doesn't
fair.
mean it's a bad movie.
That's fair. That is fucking fair. All right, Mount Rushmore. I guess I'll go ahead and start this since I liked the movie more than you did.
Go ahead.
My number 4 scene is gonna have to be the car wreck through meeting the new family that moved in. The car wreck just kind of happens. You don't really know that they're dead. I remembered that they were dead because how could I not? I even think that I saw the first 15 minutes of this movie 10 years ago. So I'm just like, yeah, they're dead. But like the first time you watch this movie, the way they set it up, the moment Alec Baldwin's like, wait, how did we get home? You're just like, these bitches are dead. And then just the subtle cues like the recently deceased book and all this stuff, just really small, funny jokes. And then the family gets here and they're just obnoxious fucking shitheads. You know, you got Moira, and I love this lady's career because I don't know her from a lot of stuff, but I know her from Home Alone, Schitt's Creek, and now this movie. And she's a great character for what she does. Because she's basically Myra in this movie.
Yes. 100%. She was like, "Wait, how," when Schitt's Creek came about, she's like, let me think. Let me get in the mindset of 1987 when I filmed Beetlejuice. All right. Actually, got it. I'm ready. Let's go, Eugene Levy."
Yep, yep, 100%. And so I just loved meeting the family. And then a very funny, did not age well joke was the racist Asian remark over how much MSG that could cause a stroke that was in the Cantonese food that they were eating the first night there. I thought fucking funny because it ages so poorly.
I remember when MSG came out as, like, the danger food, and now it's like, it's literally just an umami flavor seasoning. There is nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. It's all racism against Asian culture. Chill the fuck out. So I that made me laugh out loud when it wasn't supposed to. Very not very well aged joke that I enjoyed out of my number 4 scene.
My number 4 scene is going to be when Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis when he draws the door with chalk and knocks on it, and they go into, I called it the dead person DMV just
Awesome.
because
Awesome.
it was
Awesome.
it
Awesome.
It was Tim Burton just saying, "Look at these cool characters I created. Don't pay attention to what's going on because no one has a clue. But don't these people look cool as shit?"
Awesome. This is my number one honorable mention. It's my only honorable mention. Thank you for putting it on your Mount Rushmore. I love this scene. In fact, I have a little bit of it right here. The guy just like, how do I look? Oh, you look good. Are you sure? Yeah, you look real good. Thanks. I've been feeling a little flat. Oh, also, before you continue, I'll stop talking after this. The lady that was cut in half, Tim Burton's girlfriend at the time.
Oh, that's why it wasn't creepy when he felt up her thigh.
It was still creepy. But yeah, Tim Burton's girlfriend.
I would not let 1988 Michael Keaton touch my girlfriend.
I mean, looking like that, he doesn't look like 1988 Michael
Uh,
Keaton.
that's true.
I don't have this in my written in my trivia, but this is a great time to bring it up because why the fuck not? But he looked so out of whack because Tim Burton told Michael Keaton that he was from all the time periods possible. And Michael Keaton had complete freedom on his wardrobe. So he was like, make my outside of my face really moldy, make every garment you give me from a different period in history. And that's why he looks so out of whack, because he's just been around for that fucking long.
Yeah, because I also had that question. I'm like, is he from Victorian England? He survived the plague, like, or is he a 1880s cowboy? What the fuck is this guy?
Yep. Yep.
All right, you're number three.
My number three scene is the wedding finale at the very end of the movie.
Okay, I can see that. Where, oh, Beetlejuice also has magical powers. How? I don't fucking know.
Nor do I care. I don't care at all. This scene worked for me. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good end to the movie. I thought Winona Ryder being helpless and just, and it's not that she was helpless. She just like, what was she gonna do? You know? And it just was a good scene. It wrapped up the movie really well. And of course, I don't take it through her coming home from school. That was a horrible ending to the movie.
We do agree on that.
Yeah. But I mean, just a good number three scene. Maybe this should have been my number four scene, but I think every scene with Beetlejuice was better than my number four scene. So I don't have much to say other than Michael Keaton's great and he has to be in my Mount Rushmore 3 out of 4 times.
My number three scene is actually, and this is kind of two scenes, but I love the Beetlejuice commercial so much, where he just straight up looks like Joe Exotic and is pitching his services to exercise the like living, which is kind of a funny bit. I loved that commercial and when they first met Beetlejuice. I'm kind of Eddie Guerrero in there and putting those two scenes together where Michael Keaton just comes out and just says, "You want to see what given 100% looks like? I'll show you."
This is what was the movie? Oh, it was Roadhouse, the sequel to Roadhouse, where you were like, it is possible to give 110%. That's from Conor McGregor, and we now know that 110% is possible. Michael Keaton is a phenomenal generational actor. So he doesn't need to give 110%. So this phenomenal generational actor was like, let me show you what 100% looks like from someone like me. Let me eat up 14 and a half minutes, and this is how I'll start.
Well, you stole my bit because I was going to be the first person to ever compare Conor McGregor and Michael Keaton because they're the only two actors I've ever seen give 110%.
Oh, sorry I stole that from you. I had no idea you were about to say that. So if no one can tell, this is my number one scene. Well, I'll do my number two scene in a second. This is my number one scene. This scene is incredible, and like you,
Wait, Your number one scene of the movie is not the dinner party dance?
No.
That's crazy.
No, my number one scene of the movie is meeting Michael Keaton because, like you, I Eddie Guerrero this. It is the bullshit late night used car sale lot commercial that everyone's seen that used to not have cable but rabbit ears. And then meeting Beetlejuice. And you have some great shit here. You just have Beetlejuice getting up in Alec Baldwin's face, and Alec Baldwin fucking attractive in 1988.
Oh, yeah, yeah, young Alec Baldwin was a smoke show.
He looks fucking great. And gross ass Michael Keaton just getting up in his grill. He's like, how solid is this relationship? I mean, do I have a chance? Fucking hilarious. No care in the world. Uh, and then just like, can you get rid of these people? And him going off on a diatribe on why he's the best exorcist that there can be. And the best part of it has to be like 167 times I've seen The Exorcist, and every time I think it gets funnier. So yeah, that's my number one scene. I'm sorry. My number
It
two scene, going right into my number two scene, is the first possession. And the daylight come. The Michael Keaton is so good in this movie that the daylight come I want to go home didn't make my number one spot.
that's crazy because this is as much as I didn't care for this movie, that is a perfect scene.
It
The entire movie is almost worth watching because of that one scene.
I don't disagree with you. I do think it's the best scene in the movie. It's just not my number one scene.
Okay. I stack bananas till the daylight comes. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Everything about it is so funny.
Yes. I 100%. It like I said, it's the best scene in the movie, hands down. It's not even close. I just liked Michael Keaton that much in this movie. It's why I like this Tim Burton movie. I cannot reiterate enough. I do not like Tim Burton movies. This is not a pro Tim Burton podcast. I feel like I speak for the both of us.
It is a pro Michael Keaton podcast, though.
It is a pro Michael Keaton podcast. And with saying that we're not a pro Tim Burton podcast, the first two Batman movies starring Michael Keaton, directed by Tim Burton, are not Tim Burton movies.
You think all superhero movies are superhero movies and not director based?
Not necessarily. I think there are a few superhero movies that no matter who the director is, they're not director based. You have Batman, Superman. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, despite there being Sam Raimi qualities, they are Spider-Man movies, not Sam Raimi movies.
Correct.
I can get behind this.
And so the Batman movies are not Tim Burton movies, they are Batman movies with Tim Burton elements.
So it's what? Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, X-Men?
Yeah. Yeah. And Avengers.
Yeah, but that's just because of recency. I feel like in 1990 or in 2002, you could have done a one of the Avengers movies and it still be of that director.
I don't think so. The Avengers are just like an all-star team cast of superheroes. Like that, like, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna show up and blow shit up, and people are gonna be cool.
I see. I feel like Thor Ragnarok is a Taika Waititi movie more than a Thor movie,
Thor's not really Batman though.
and I guess he's an Avengers, and you're talking about the Avengers in general. I okay,
Yes, yes. I'm talking about Avengers
yeah,
movies.
gotcha.
Yes. So back to the Mount Rushmore of scenes when it comes to the Day-O scene. Tim Burton feared that the Day-O sequence wouldn't go over well since, in his opinion, it, quote, wasn't very funny. Turns out he was wrong, and audiences loved it and think of it as one of the film's most iconic scenes.
Yeah, that's the scene that plays in everyone's head when they think of Beetlejuice.
Yes. When off the character that the gentleman that played Otho, Glenn Shaddix, died in September of 2010, the last song performed at his memorial service was Deo, which was used in the, of course, dinner party scene.
That's great.
Yeah,
I'd have danced. I'd have danced at that funeral.
me too. So we know my number one. Oh, so your number one scene is obviously the Deo scene. What's your number two scene?
Yes. The number 2 scene is Catherine O'Hare and the newspaper guy from Deadwood buying the house and coming in just because I side
So
uh,
my number four scene.
yeah, I sided with the dad so hard where he's just like, "I just want a place in the country where I can drink tea and read my books. Stop it with all the remodeling."
Gotcha. You would it would really hit home for you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would have been keeping an eye out trying to buy the whole town for my soulless corporation, but the I just wanna drink tea and coffee and look at the trees and read.
Before we leave the Mount Rushmore scenes, the Deo scene, I also very much enjoyed Beetlejuice showing up as a snake and him going to the strip club on the little model. I thought both those bits were pretty great.
The strip club on the model made me laugh.
Of course it did. It was fucking hilarious. Oh, that was a good Mount Rushmore, and as much as we overlapped, I think we like different things and whatnot. That was a good Mount Rushmore. All right. Character breakdown.
We starting with, the titular character who is in the movie for 14 and a half minutes, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice?
Oh, we have to. And to start Michael Keaton off as Beetlejuice, I just want to say this is Michael Keaton's favorite film of his own, which I think I've already mentioned earlier. He ad libbed a lot of his lines. And like I said earlier, he came up with much of the character's look for himself. Keaton told the makeup department he wanted mold on his face and his hair, looking as if he'd struck his finger in an electric socket. And he requested that the wardrobe department send him clothes from all the different time periods, for reasons that I said earlier.
I feel like we've covered this pretty well. This is where I was gonna insert my being the first person to compare Conor McGregor to Michael Keaton. That was really the only
Okay.
joke I had here, and you
Gotcha.
ruined
Yeah.
it.
Well, I couldn't help myself. I liked this character that fucking much. Uh All right, Winona Ryder. You know who I get her confused with? I get her confused with the actor that played Bellatrix Lestrange in Harry Potter.
Oh, because she's a Tim Burton favorite. Um, I have just blanked on her. Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes, I get both of them confused all of the time. But yeah, Winona Ryder did great. I forget that she was even in this movie, and as I was reading the trivia and whatnot, I kept forgetting that it was her because I kept thinking it was Helena Bonham Carter.
I really could have used about 10 more minutes of her in this movie. And I wish her character was more coming of age than just depressed teenager.
I feel that. I didn't even think of that, but I feel that. It's also a kid character's hard in this environment because how do you get a more mature kid in this environment than a depressed teenager?
Yeah, and oh, by the way, you're gonna have to go one-on-one with Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin, and Michael Keaton, and you're 14 years old. Good luck.
Yep. Yep. True that. She did a good job for being 14.
Yeah, like I said, I just wish there was more of this character. I'm not
Mhm.
sure what you take away. I'm not sure if you take away more Baldwin and Gina Davis or more of her parents. But just I could have used more of this storyline from her because I thought she was really good in it.
I agree. Anything else about Winona Ryder?
Nah, that's really all I got.
All right. The smoke show of the show, Alec Baldwin.
It's so weird if you've only known like post 2006 Alec Baldwin to see him in this role cuz you see him now as, Jack from 30 Rock and just this what's the Glenn Ross movie and then you see him
Yep.
here as charming, good-looking caring. I know he's not a father, but kind of has that vibe to him. Would have to be shocking if you only knew, post this version of Alec Baldwin.
100% agree. And like as we've said, just a fucking smoke show. He looks so good.
Great
And
hair.
in those ugly fucking glasses too.
They're trying to make him look ugly, and I'm like, nope, nope,
Yeah,
he's hot.
100% they're trying to make him look ugly. But yeah, he does a great job. Gina Davis, the
You
wife.
know, Gina Davis, I don't know what happened. So she was in this movie in '88. Then 91, she was in Thelma and Louise with, Brad Pitt and, oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name, Susan Sarandon. And then in '92, she was in A League of
Oh,
Their Own.
your girl Susan Sarandon. I can't believe you almost forgot
Yeah,
her name.
I know, I know. So she has that 3-movie run in 4 years and then just disappears and is like the grandma in Hallmark films now? I don't know what happened.
Maybe she had kids. Maybe she developed a substance problem. Maybe she just wanted to step back from acting.
I think she was dating Goldblum and maybe married to Goldblum in that era,
Okay.
but I just
Huh.
I just always found that fascinating as she has 3 roles, she's really good in all 3. She's on the brink of stardom, I don't know about superstardom, but stardom nonetheless, and then just disappears, it's weird.
Yeah, like she could have been the Reese Witherspoon of the 90s and 2000s.
Well, and I wonder if she wasn't too tall,
Ah, maybe.
because
It's
when
it,
you're,
it's so it's so funny how height works in Hollywood. I was just little sidebar real quick. I turned Casino on for Nima last night as I watched Beetlejuice because I decided she's probably not going to like this movie. And I've been wanting to show her Casino for a long time, but I never got around to it. So I'm just like, watch this movie. Scorsese's your favorite director. You'll enjoy it. Joe Pesci's a fucking phenomenal motherfucker in this movie. Like he's the best person in this movie, and he's in this movie with all these other people. And she didn't finish it because it's Scorsese and he makes 3-hour movies, and we started it late. But I was like, "How did you like Joe Pesci so far?" And she was like, "I don't necessarily know yet," because again, another Scorsese joke. She was like, I only watched an hour of it before falling asleep, so we were still in the intro. 100% you were. But my theory on Joe Pesci, to all that to say, my theory on Joe Pesci's career, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, BJ, is because he doesn't have directors and cameramen lie about the angle to make him look taller like your Sylvester Stallone's.
well, Joe
And
Pesci's the muscle in Casino.
I know he is, and it fucking works because Martin Scorsese's a fucking genius. But if you're Joe Pesci and you don't let people change your height, how are you gonna do that in other movies? Guys like 5'4", 5'3". That's just my theory on Joe Pesci. I don't fucking know.
Did we cover everything we wanted to on Gina Davis? I thought she was really good in this. She was
Yes,
super sweet, charming,
yes, yes. Gina
good
Davis was
chemistry with
awesome.
Baldwin.
Yes, and great chemistry with Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
I think Gina Davis was the only one that didn't out act Winona Ryder, and I think she like it was an on purpose kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. She was playing her role.
Yeah. But just in the fact like whenever you're like on screen with Alec Baldwin and Michael Keaton and whatever, the chemistry between Gina Davis and Winona Ryder felt different.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying. The parents, Moira, and the mom from Home Alone, and that
Yeah,
guy.
the ultimate that guy. That's our that guy, right?
Yeah, that's the that guy. That's the that guy.
That's this podcast official that guy.
Yes. Like we don't need to say anything else about them. They didn't learn their lesson at the end of the movie, and they reaped the benefits of everything else. Good on them. It sounds like classic white people shit.
I'm not really sure why they were so bad.
Because the teenager is a depressed teenager. That's the only
Okay.
reason they were bad.
Okay.
And thanks for not even acknowledging my white people shit joke. I appreciate that. Not that funny?
I'm still lost to this point on trying to figure out why they were so bad because they kind of seemed like they went out there because she was miserable in the city, and I I I just couldn't really tell while they were so bad. Like they were obnoxious, sure.
Fair enough. All right, trivia and facts. My bread and butter. Already had quite a bit for this movie. This movie surprisingly has really good trivia and facts for our podcast.
Okay, let's hear them.
To start off, how Monty Python is this bit of trivia? The idea for the movie came after Poltergeist was a hit movie, but the idea of Bad Ghost was flipped. The people who moved into the house would be the awful ones.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's definitely some like parody elements to
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of wish they went full bore parody.
Fair enough, but I just that bit of trivia, like it's full on Monty Python style trivia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The studio, oh BJ, you're gonna love this. The studio originally wanted to call the film House Ghosts. So as a joke, Tim Burton suggested the name. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Scared Sheetless. Tim Burton was horrified when the studio actually considered using it.
Oh. So there were people around a table and somebody was like, "I don't know, I kinda like Scared Sheetless." And everybody around the table had to agree with him because if not, they would have gotten fired.
Yeah, yeah. Or they actually thought it was a good sounding movie name. One of the
No.
two.
A
There's
group
only
of
two
people
situations here.
a group of people does not think that sounds good. Maybe one person. A group,
BJ,
absolutely not.
this is 1987. Die Hard hasn't even been released yet.
Am I thinking too highly of, movie executives?
100% you are. That's why Michael Bay was scared that they were serious. Not Michael Bay, Tim Burton,
Yeah.
sorry. Honestly, though, one and the same for me. But at least Tim Burton has, I'm sorry, at least Michael Bay has a number of movies. I only like Beetlejuice so far.
I will pay $1,000 to see Tim Burton's, take on Armageddon.
I will pay $1,000 for Tim Burton's take on Armageddon, and I will pay $1,000 for Michael Bay's take on what Tim Burton movie do I want Michael Bay to do?
Oh, you want Michael Bay to do Edward Scissorhands.
100% I want Michael Bay. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't believe you.
Heads will be chopped off with scissor hands.
Only if Michael Bay gets rated R.
Well, sure.
So if he doesn't get rated R, it won't be that.
Okay,
You know
so
what?
how
Oh, I will take Michael Bay on Tim Burton's Mars Attacks.
okay. See, I was kind of thinking, Michael Bay's take on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with just violent, gruesome deaths for each one of the kids
Oh,
that do something
oh.
wrong.
Actually, actually, there is one BJ. There is one other Tim Burton movie that I like. One other, and everyone else hates this movie. And I will take Michael Bay's redemption of Tim Burton's 2001 Mark Wahlberg, Paul Giamatti classic, Planet of the Apes. That's what I want from Michael Bay. You give me Tim Burton's Armageddon, I'll take Michael Bay's Planet of the Apes.
Can Michael Bay write female monkeys?
I don't care. It's not about the female monkeys. And honestly, the way he thinks about women, probably. He could probably do female monkeys. Again,
Uh,
this is not a pro Michael Bay podcast, okay? I don't know if we emphasize that with the Bad Boys podcast, which now all that means is Bad Boys has to be our next episode that comes out. Okay, sorry. Back to trivia and facts.
oh, we're on trivia and facts? Totally
Yeah.
forgot where we were.
So at BJ, again, this movie has trivia made for us. At one point, Tim Burton considered Arnold Schwarzenegger as the role of Beetlejuice.
What?
I know. Doesn't that sound incredible in an awful, awesome, incredible way? However, the Giffen Company felt that due to Schwarzenegger's reputation at the time as an action star, people wouldn't take it seriously, but Burton approached Schwarzenegger anyway. He turned it down as he was busy shooting The Running Man.
I need to get out of here. You must say my name 3 times and I will help you.
Yep, exactly.
Beetlejuice.
Okay, BJ, this trivia is specifically, again, this trivia is made for this podcast. This trivia is specifically for your oldest child, Zane, when he is old enough to appreciate this trivia. Okay?
Okay.
Along with Spaceballs, Big, and Caddyshack 2, Beetlejuice is notable for containing the F word in a film rated PG during the new PG-13 era.
I noticed that, and uh, I had to rewind it because I wasn't sure I heard it correctly.
You did. Along with Spaceballs, Big, and Caddyshack 2.
I can't believe Spaceballs is a PG movie.
I can't either. I also don't remember when they said the F word in Spaceballs, so I guess Spaceballs will be on the podcast soon.
And Caddyshack 2 will not be.
No.
I might have to do Caddyshack for a birthday episode.
Okay. That's fine.
There's a line where Chevy Chase, the guy caddying for him, the kid caddying for him, he's talking to him and he's telling Chevy Chase he has problems, and Chevy Chase goes, "Do you do drugs, Danny?" And he goes, "Every day, sir." Good.
The meaning of life. I don't understand people that do life sober. Life fucking sucks. You need to get inebriated sometimes. Even if you only do it once a month, you need to let fucking loose.
I learned a new phrase this weekend.
Wait,
called
BJ. No. We can bring it up another time.
Okay.
It's gonna be too much for this podcast already.
It hurts my brain to think of it still, so you're probably right.
Yeah. So again, I cannot reiterate enough. This movie has trivia for this motherfucking podcast. During the scene in the graveyard after Matlin's leave when Beetlejuice gets mad and kicks the tree, originally the tree was not supposed to fall. But during that take, Michael Keaton kicks a tree and it falls, to which he ad-libs the line, "Nice fucking model," when he says the F word, and squeezes his crotch twice, which is accompanied by honking noises. Keaton says that to the set designer who messed up. Director Tim Burton loved it so much that he left a blooper in the film.
The honking at the crotch grab is I would absolutely have fallen on the floor.
Yep. I told you this movie has trivia for this podcast. Again, with the next one, BJ, trivia for this podcast. This is another good trivia group name. When Adam and Barbara are in the office, or in the waiting room office, you know, the dead a voice from the PA system announces Flight 409 is arriving at Gate 3. United Airlines Flight 409 crashed into a mountain in Wyoming on October 6, 1955, killing all passengers and crew aboard. At the time, it was one of the worst plane crashes in history. 3 plane crashes in 1955 had a total of 66 casualties. To this day, no one knows why it crashed.
So your idea for a trivia team name is Flight 409?
Correct.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather use the DB Cooper one, but I don't remember what flight that was.
I mean, they're both good trivia group names. What's the submarine one that we talked about at Jaws?
The USS Indianapolis?
USS Indianapolis? Yeah. Just like the USS Indianapolis, only a handful of people are going to know the joke, and that's the point.
That's exactly right. The funniest jokes are the ones where you're in a room of 10 people and 2 laugh.
Correct. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's those things that don't make sense. Like I said this before, I read this one time on the internet. If you're hanging out with 5 of your buddies and you have a 6-pack, everyone having 1 beer is more fun than you having 6 beers by yourself. The math does not make sense.
But my math that doesn't make sense is, and I will stand by this, 95 degrees is 15 degrees hotter than 89 degrees.
Yes. I mean, that's only because you're from the South and Texas. Because it's the same math that we've always talked about. 101 degrees is the same as 112. Hell, 97 is the same as 112.
Yeah,
Go fuck
yeah.
yourself.
Once you get over 95, it doesn't matter.
Yep. All right, BJ. Again, I cannot reiterate this enough. This is my last bit of trivia. This movie has trivia made for this podcast. As I like to do at the end of trivia, this trivia is for you specifically. I had trivia in this podcast for you and your oldest child. I fucking killed it.
Okay.
The TV show Community, which started airing over 20 years after the release of Beetlejuice, staged an elaborate but extremely subtle multi-year tribute to the movie. During the first 3 seasons of the show, a character said the word Beetlejuice once a season until just after the 3rd season mention an extra in a Beetlejuice Halloween costume walks by in the background. This is a reference to the idea established in the movie that if you say Beetlejuice's name 3 times, he will appear.
The show's genius. The show's absolutely genius. Troy and Abed in the morning. Nights.
I mean, BJ, wasn't that one of the best trivia segments we've ever had just for the scope of this podcast and what it is?
Top tier.
I'm reading through these trivia bits and I'm just like, oh my god, this trivia section was made for IRMFT.
That's top tier trivia. That's every one of those was banger after banger.
Right. All right, cool. Oh man, all right, what's next? Oh, our impersonation. It's got to be the one and only, right?
Oh yeah, because we'll never be able to do this again.
Be a sexual predator? Everyone, side disclaimer, that will not be our impersonations. But we are impersonating Beetlejuice, who happens to be a sexual predator, thus the joke for those of us that are too woke for my joke. And by those listeners, I mean you right-wingers.
Oh, hey, I'm in Perverts Anonymous class. Let's see. Oh, hey, Cosby, what are you doing over there? Hey, nice to meet you, Bill. Oh, hey, there you are, Louie. Ha ha. Hey, I love your joke about the plane. Ha ha. Oh, hey, Diddy. Ho. How many bottles of baby oil you got on your pocket? Ha ha ha.
Wow, you went with all the current topics and pretty much robbed me of all of them. Because if I try to do any of them, I'm just robbing your impersonation.
That impersonation hurts my throat.
That was good. But I don't think it was this good, you know what I mean? I am the best. I'm the best exorcist that there can be. I'm so good I make Jeffrey Epstein look like he fucking killed himself. That's what I got.
I can't believe there wasn't a sexorcist joke in this movie.
Oh my god. That would have been so good. All right. Those are both good impersonations. I honestly, we haven't tried to say who won these for a while because you've been kind of on a kill spree lately. For the
That
most part,
that
every once in a while I'll sneak in with a good one. But I think that was pretty even though mine was short, wouldn't you say?
that Quint one I did was so incredible.
Which one?
Quint from Jaws, the
Oh
Robert Stahl
yeah.
character.
Oh my god. You, like I said, you've been on a roll, but am I tooting my own horn? Did we just tie that one?
That might have been the best dual one we've done. Like, I feel like I've had better ones and you've had better ones, but I don't think there was a one where both of us were that good.
Cool. All right. Final thoughts on the movie. BJ, since you liked this movie less than I did, and after talking about this movie for the last hour, what do you think?
I did not care for this, but don't let that discourage you from watching it. I just I was just too confounded and too confused and had too many questions. But again, there's cool visuals. There's a nice little charm, kind of parody element to this. But for me, this is still like a 5.6. I'd round up to a 6 if I have to. But just not my cup of tea. The podcast is better than the movie.
So, before I go on with my rating, I will second that. I think the podcast is better than the movie, 100%. That being said, we don't make money on this podcast and we're a couple losers. I'm sitting in a closet, just like in Jaws. Maybe I'll come out one day. That's a good fucking bit. I'm
Yep.
just saying. That's a good bit.
Every time I step in a closet and walk out of it, I make the joke in my head.
Yeah, yeah. With that being said, I hate Tim Burton movies. I might hate Tim Burton movies more than I hate Wes Anderson movies, and I loathe Wes Anderson movies. Who knows? I may hate them equally. But this movie's incredible. I loved the low budget effects. How I loved because it was low budget. The obvious Tim Burton nature of it was scaled back, even though it was obviously Tim Burton. And that's one of the things that I really, really liked about this movie, being a Tim Burton hater. And then Michael Keaton was fucking phenomenal. So I'm going to give this movie an entire point more than you because I still hate Tim Burton, but it's a 7.4, so it rounds down to a 7.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I still think this movie is incredible, but again, on this podcast, we grade movies on a curve. I'm not a Tim Burton fan. I don't like the man. This movie is a 7.4.
So, would you recommend it to people?
Yes, I would recommend it to people with the disclaimer knowing that I do not like Tim Burton movies. Because it's
See,
2024. I don't know if you've seen a Tim Burton movie. I meet enough young people that I don't know if they've seen a Tim Burton movie. I want everyone to know that if I recommend this movie to you, that I do not like Tim Burton. I think it is important.
I do think there's an odd, like, cultural element to this movie that people should still watch it. And it has some charm. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
And like you said, there's a cultural element to this movie that people should watch it. Not every movie gets a sequel 34 years after it was released. That speaks for itself.
Should we try our possibly failed segment of woke this movie?
Oh, 100%.
So, my thought here, Tim Burton movies are so white that I think the only way to woke this movie is Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, got to be a gay or lesbian couple.
Uh, or or a minority.
See, I think Tim Burton movies are too white to put a minority here.
Wow. You think they're so white they have to be a gay or lesbian white couple?
I do,
Wow.
and I'm
You know
not
what?
afraid to say it.
If this is a failed segment, this is a strong take that I stand behind. Tim Burton movies are so white that you could not replace any white character with any minority, no matter what the movie. I stand behind this. Jack, I stand behind both presidential candidates in 2024 are fascists.
You
Both
cannot
are
have it.
fascist. It does not matter who you vote for. It does not matter what Tim Burton movie it is. You cannot replace any character with a minority. They have to be white and they have to be lesbian or black. I can get
I'm
behind that.
proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free.
Hell yeah. As long as you're white, straight, and Christian, god damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's not get too political here.
I like the woke this movie segment.
I do too. It brings great jokes. It brings great fucking jokes. You nailed that one. Oh, before I do the good and bad IMDb reviews, because this is our second episode to do woke this movie segment. BJ, for our listeners, what does woke mean for IRMFT?
The official IRMFT definition of woke is that mainstream no longer panders solely to white Christian conservative males.
It can mean whatever you want it to mean. We're not saying that's what woke means. We are saying,
We are
I
saying
remember my first time. That is what woke means here.
that is our official definition.
Yes. Thank you for attending our TED Talk. Now it's time for good and bad IMDb reviews. BJ, are you ready for the username of the 10 out of 10 review? It's going to surprise you.
10 out of 10 review. Okay, is it Michael Keaton based?
No, no.
What is it?
The username for the 10 out of 10 review on IMDb is Christian Moms Against Captcha Audio.
10 out of 10?
10 out of 10, BJ.
Oh, I hope Beetlejuice is the devil.
You ready?
Yeah. Let's go.
The title is Beetle Orange Drink ? Sorry, can't say the name 3 times. So the Christian bit is already following.
Uh, Absolutely.
Really good movie overall about ghost couple and their wacky zany adventures of being ghosts. But along the way, they meet girl who can see ghosts. Ha ha. Perhaps it could be because of gothic inclination, but other than that, it was a refreshing sight to see deceased actors be cast for a film like this. Very good choice. Smiley face.
Your delivery of this review is top notch, I gotta say. Top
Thank
notch.
you. Thank you. I really enjoyed reading this review, so I'm trying to nail it. Quote, my favorite character has to be the football bros. I
It's late. I'm tired.
No, it's okay. This
Can't stop
this
laughing.
this review is that good. I'm glad you're laughing this much later or not. I am a little upset that they were not able to resolve finding the men's restroom by the end of the movie, though. Unhappy smiley face.
Is she implying they all just pissed their pants?
I think so. Kind of a plot hole, blah, but I'll let it slide. I quite liked Beetle Asterix outfits throughout the movie and his advertisements. They were very convincing, and I will consider consulting him for his services in the future. I have some concerns about the humane treatment of the sandworm used in this movie, though. I do not like animal cruelty in movies, and it seems like it was put under distressing circumstances at some points. Unhappy smiley face. Perhaps I am biased because I have a pet sandworm at home. Either ways, I am glad to recommend this movie. It is a good Halloween classic. Cheers, smiley face.
Needless to say, welcome on the podcast anytime.
Yeah, when you first read Christian Moms Against Captcha Audio, you're like, maybe this person's not welcome. But then you read the review for Beetlejuice and you're like, anytime, hit us up. Doesn't matter what movie. Recommend a movie. I'm just saying, Christian Moms Against Captcha Audio IMDb username. Hit us up. Recommend a movie. You can
We'll
call
even
it.
have your pet sandworm on too.
Yes. Fuck yeah, we'll have your pet sandworm. God damn, I've never been so excited. Okay. That was one of the best reviews I've ever gotten to read and read out loud. Are you ready for the bad review? It won't be nearly as good. I'm sorry. I can't. It's hard to follow that up.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah. I'll do my best with username Onsen18 titled Absurd and Tasteless Comedy. An absurd and tasteless comedy. I felt embarrassed for Alec Baldwin. The initial idea was interesting and could turn into a very funny movie. A couple of nice ghosts got scared of a bunch of obnoxious alive people. Also, it could be quite amusing to spoof the modern bureaucracy, showing it in its afterlife. And Keaton's character could be something more than just incoherent ghost clown. But the development of those ideas got lost in the dense woods of director's mind and his perverted sense of humor. Or better to say, total absence of good sense of humor. I am
Ugh,
completely
you have a
bewildered.
total absence of good sense of humor.
I am completely bewildered by the success of this film. I made the list of 1,000 best according to the last edition of New York Times Movie Critics. Excuse me! But then again, Breakfast at Tiffany did not make the list, and Breakfast Club did.
Yeah, your point. Breakfast Club's a better movie.
Yeah, he's just boring.
Man, I'm still laughing at that previous review.
Oh, yeah, because it's fucking incredible.
What else is are we done?
I think the only question we have to ask our users is, should you watch this movie? And I personally think so.
I kind of do too, even though I didn't really like it. You may have to watch the movie just to listen to the podcast because this episode was a banger.
I totally agree. I think this might be one of our best episodes. And this isn't a movie either one of us exceptionally liked. It's a fun movie, is what I'm trying to say. Watch it, listen. Yeah,
Follow, like, interact with.
I'm
I
tired of it. I'm tired of even asking people, fuck these assholes. I do not even care. I don't even make this for you. I've I do it because I like watching movies and I get to talk to my best friend about movies. So fuck all you. Okay. Sometimes my brother's on the pod, and that's nice.
uh oh, and we continue next week with what, Jacob? One of
Oh,
your favorites.
one of my favorite directors, and it's weird because it's not like he has a ton of great movies. He's coming out with Gladiator 2. I just watched the trailer. I'm actually surprised at how much I want to see it. And also, a lot of it looks pretty fucking lame. Like the story, like, get over yourself. Ridley Scott's directorial debut. I think this might be the first badass female action star in a lead role as well.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver, and it's not even an action movie yet. It becomes an action movie in the sequel, but we're watching Ridley Scott's directorial debut, Alien.
No S.
No, that's the sequel. One of my coworkers, he attempted to insult me because I told him in the same sentence, I say he attempted to insult me, and if I can drop his name in the pod, I will, and if I need to edit this out, I will. Shoba, I don't think no fault of your own, because in the same conversation, I was like, yeah, I watched the first 3/4 of Aliens last night, and that movie's fucking incredible, because he was telling me recently that he was watching all the Aliens movies, and of course we talked about how David Fincher almost quit directing because he did Aliens 4, but continuing on this story, and I was like, yeah, and coming up on my Halloween episodes, we're going to watch Alien. And he looks at me with his eyebrow raised, and he goes, the first one? And I looked at him, and I was like, Shubba, don't insult me. I said Alien right after I told you that I started watching Aliens. I know the difference. One is a horror sci-fi movie directed by Ridley Scott. The other is an action sci-fi movie with horror elements directed by James Cameron. I have a movie podcast, even though no one listens to it.
You really showed him.
I showed him, goddammit.
Oh, sounds like we got one listener for Alien next week.
Yes. 100% we have one listener for Alien. Possibly two because of David. He's been itching for us to release some new podcast, and we're real shitty at releasing podcasts because, again, we don't make this for y'all, okay? If we did, we would release every week.
Only when we want to.
Yeah, fuck you, assholes. We don't want to make no money on this. Reverse psychology. Anyways, man, this is the first podcast in a long time I haven't said show us your dick, Michael Douglas. And it doesn't count now. I'm just super surprised by it. I've normally been able to fit it in. That's what she said. And I tried all episode. But you don't want to force it, especially in a movie where there's a sexual predator. God damn, I'm on it.
I may be Monday morning quarterbacking here. Should have brought it up with the sand snakes.
I think you are Monday morning quarterbacking because BJ, this is our podcast, and you're allowed to. You are allowed to say, "Show us your dick," Michael Douglas.
I am as at fault as you.
Okay, as long as we're on the same page there. oh my gosh, the devil's lettuce.
Oh, well, that'll do it. Just after a bong rip cough. That's how we're going to end this episode.
100%. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Alien. Bye.